Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Brandon Evans with Above the Yellow Line Media and Goat Locker Racing. This week, we're at Sonoma Raceway, another road course, back to back here. Let's go ahead, jump in the car, show you what it looks like from the cockpit, show you what the track looks like, and then we'll jump out of the car and kind of look at it from a more TV perspective. So here we go. One thing I don't like about this track when it comes to pit road exit is that you are dumping right onto the racetrack. There's not really much of a transition to go from coming off of pit road, where you have a little bit of an escape like you would on an oval on the backstretch of most speedways. At Sonoma, you're just dumped right into the driving line. So when we get back to the front stretch, I'll kind of show you, because the way you approach turn one is you got to be all the way to the left. That's where cars. Warm-up lap just to get the tires warmed up here. See what that looks like. This is a very sweeping hill racetrack, extremely difficult to get around, especially with multiple cars. The driving line is a very unique one, that's for sure. Let's go back here and show you what this looks like. So coming up into turn one here, you're going to want to hug this line right here all the way onto this curb, and be prepared for a big heavy right-hander, which is a sweeping uphill, then back to a downhill. So you definitely don't want to run it too wide or you're going to end up in the dirt. And this next corner is a big sweeping right-hander back to downhill, back to a left-hander uphill. So here's what that looks like. The car will unload and load drastically through here, and it will get very light under you at the peak of this hill. And then onward to the next downhill, which is a big heavy right-hander, kind of using this dirt patch in iRacing as a mark here. Now in real life, you'll see them run really wide on this curb. iRacing doesn't really allow you to do that as much. I think in real life that curb is a little bit different, but you'll see them run wide through there just to get a huge run off that corner because this sets up for a pretty good passing zone through the S's. The S's do not have very good passing zones, maybe until you get to turn 10, which is very, very fast and sweeping, which we'll get to here in just a second. So here as we go through the S's, you want to kind of set up, keep the tires on the curb, use the curb as a grip strip, if you will, and then set yourself up for a really fast turn 10, which is hugging this curb right here as best you can and get ready to hit this curb right there and not run it wide. In the broadcast, what they'll do is they'll broadcast it from the other way, showing the car coming towards you, and see the cars come flying off that corner, and it is a sweeping fast corner in real life. You're probably going to see contact. You will see bumper cars through the tire section right here. The switchback corner, because that's apparently how these guys get around road courses nowadays. They just run into each other. The laps are actually pretty fast at this racetrack, so if I play this at real time, that lap was only about a 1:15, but if I go back and play it at real time, it is much faster. Just trying not to crash coming up into turn 1. Sweeping downhill, heavy right-hander. So this is that curb that I was talking about. So they'll actually run over top of this curb right here and then kind of hook the car back onto the pavement. Kind of like Watkins Glen. In turn 1 of Watkins Glen, it's the same way. So when we get there, we'll talk about that as well. And then the S's. The S's are actually quite long here. It's only one lane, so there's not much else you can do other than set yourself up for this turn right here, which is to stay all the way to the left and come back through the sweep. I'll show you how fast this corner is. If you miss it, you will be in the dirt, and that's why they put all these tires on the wall. Well, hey, we appreciate you tuning in weekly. This is a fun series that we're doing, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I hope you're getting some perspective before you watch the race each week. So again, enjoy the race. Sonoma puts on a great show. It's a really beautiful racetrack with all the rolling hills and where the fans get to sit and all the cool things. So yeah, enjoy the race, and we'll see you next week. Thanks.